Sky Mobile sponsors the transfer window on Sky Sports News.
The biggest story on deadline day at the moment is relating to Mo Salah. A week ago at Chelsea, this man said that if Saudi Arabian clubs got to 150 million, then Mo Salah would go. It seemed that they're getting to 150 million. This man's just changed his mind off camera and said now they need 200. Where are you at with this? You're getting a bit twitchy, aren't you?
I want more. I want more money. No, I actually think Mo Salah, when you look at what Kane went for, I think it was about 100 million. I think Kane's maybe a year or two younger, but he only has a year to go. Mo Salah's got 2 years to go. Looks after himself brilliantly well. But for Liverpool to sell right now, they're not going to want what he's worth. They're going to want well more than that. So probably is he worth 150 million if there was no Saudi Arabian situation at the moment? Of course he wouldn't be. It's probably around the 100 million mark. But why have they left it so late? If they wanted him that badly and prepared to spend that much money, why wouldn't they make this bid 6 weeks ago, a month ago? And I think they probably have a decent chance to go.
Is it fair to say sometimes when clubs come in, they've already got the nod from the agent of the player and that the player might be behind the scenes thinking about wanting this move?
Well, listen, every player who's involved in negotiations, talk about moving, they can kill it straight away. You know, they've all got the social media channels if they wanted to. I actually think his agent came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and this felt more like a rumour, and he actually said if we wanted to leave, we wouldn't have signed the contract, basically. But it's up to Liverpool, and it's up to Salah as well. I mean, he may not want to go. But I do think for any player, I think even for supporters who love him and absolutely, adore him, don't want him to move, if that number just keeps going up and up and up, there is a stage where you think, you know what, you can't actually turn that down, and that's 200.
It's going to cost you. That's inflation for you. It's got 50 million in a week. Yes or no, will it happen?
I don't think it will, because it's come so late. I think if this situation would have arose 4 to 6 weeks ago, I think it, could have been a toss of a coin. It could certainly have happened, but it puts Liverpool in a position where they couldn't be able to replace him straight away. But if that number gets too big where the club couldn't turn it down, you say, well, OK, you may have to get to January before you bring it. What are you laughing at?
It's the longest yes or no I've ever heard in my life, that. Right, moving on to the next one. Gravenberch, does he complete Liverpool's midfield rebuild? Is he the right player to come in alongside the ones they've already signed? And are you comfortable that gives Liverpool a great chance of succeeding this season and getting back up challenging City?
Well, it's just interesting where he's going to fit in, because I don't think he's necessarily this defensive midfield player that I think Liverpool are still needing, even though they brought a player in from Germany. I think he's more of a number 8, where he's bought players in those positions. He's box to box, gets forward, and I think that's why Bayern Munich got rid of him. Thomas Tuchel didn't want to play him in that position. He doesn't play that way. He plays slightly differently, so that's why he's moved on. He's a player Klopp, and I think the club wanted probably 12, 18 months ago as well. And I'm interested to see where he fits in, and if Jurgen Klopp thinks he is going to be that defensive midfield player, but I don't think that's his natural game. But he's young, good pedigree. Played for 2 great clubs, Ajax and Bayern Munich. So, and to be fair, the fee is not that expensive.
And my club, Manchester United, looks like they've just completed the signing of a left back from Tottenham that we know, Sir Reguilon.
Roy will be delighted, won't he?
Pardon?
Roy Keane will be delighted. He's a big fan, isn't he?
Yeah, I have to say that I was a little bit surprised that we were going for Reguilon. I mean, obviously we've got the issue with Luke Shaw, which means it is a stopgap, it is a sort of temporary measure, but yeah, they've left themselves short in that position. But the main sort of signing that looks like could happen, may not happen, but they've been chasing him certainly throughout the whole of the transfer window, is Amrabat. And I've always felt that he's not a holding midfield player, but he plays in that position alongside Casemiro where he'll get on the ball and play, and that's what Erik ten Hag wants. Is he the right player for Manchester United to stop that midfield issue occurring, where they've obviously been cut through so many times this season so far? Well,
it's obvious. We've spoken about this a lot in the early weeks of the season. That midfield's not working for whatever reason. Is that down to the makeup of the players? Casemiro struggling on his own in there. Does he need help? Where does Mason Mount fit in? Then he's a £60 million player going forward. I think Amrabat is a player I think the manager knows from Utrecht. I think I read that this morning. So he seems to have a tendency, Erik ten Hag doesn't need to go and get players he's worked with before. He gets a lot of players from the Dutch league also. I mean, is this a case of Manchester United panicking on the last day, or do you think this is different?
No, I don't think the Amrabat one is a panic, because I think they've wanted him from day one. I think he's wanted that ball-playing midfield player, go back 12 months to Frankie de Jong. And Mason Mount isn't a ball-playing midfield player. He's more of a sort of, if you like, I think he presses well, I think he links well, I think he runs forward. I think he's always wanted this type of player. So I don't think this is a panic. I think it's always been within Erik ten Hag's want that he wants a player like this. I just don't know why it's not happened earlier. Obviously, the other signings were brought in earlier in the summer there's been an issue with getting players out, which has caused United a problem. Maybe it's that. But I think with the way the season started, the performance levels have been poor. And I know they've picked up 6 points, but that could have easily been a lot less than 6 points. The Wolves and Forest games, they were very fortunate in. So I think they have to react. They have to get someone in before the window, because that midfield is a massive problem. I don't think it's a panic. The Reguilon one is definitely a reaction to, obviously, the situation that's occurred that is more of a panic.
Is that enough to make Manchester United challenge a lot closer to Manchester City this season?
No, you'll know from what I said 3 weeks ago. I was worried that the Mount, Højlund and Onana signings hadn't made Manchester United any better, and I think that, if anything, it would just maintain where they're at. I think what we've seen in the first couple of weeks is a little bit worrying, because the performance levels have been well below what I would expect. So I mean, nowhere near Manchester City. That's a fact. I don't think any United fans thinking that. But what we would have wanted was to get closer to Arsenal, make sure we stay above Chelsea, Liverpool, and all the other clubs. That's the issue at the moment. Are Liverpool and Chelsea and the other clubs like Newcastle and sort of Aston Villa, are we as strong as them? I think we will get better. There's a lot of experience in there, but I'm a little more worried than I was a few weeks ago. But I was never bought into this idea that we were better. I said that from a couple of weeks ago. So a lot to look forward to.